What's going on, guys? Dan from SSG bringing you an Edison format deck profile. This time I'm profiling my Gadget Synchro deck that I've been working on for quite a while. I've done pretty well with it at local. I think I have like a 12-4 record over the course of a bunch of weeks. My brother also played it to a 3-0 record. So the deck has some success at our locals, and it's a lot of fun. It's the first deck I brewed up while going back to the Edison format, so it's a lot of fun, and let's get right into it. We have 3 copies of each of the gadgets. We play all 9 because we're going to try and combo off with Ultimate Offering. So sometimes it can get cloggy, but the most important thing is we want to grind 1 for 1 with our opponents, and also once we have our Ultimate Offering or our various combo pieces, we want to be able to actually utilize the gadgets and keep summoning them over and over again. Next, we have what makes this a synchro deck. 3 copies of Deep Sea Diva and 1 Spined Gillman. This allows us to turn our gadgets not only into just +1s that are like 1200 beat sticks, but also into synchro fodder. Similar to like a Reborn Tengu, something that replaces itself. The gadgets replace themselves, and although they're a little bit slow, they can really provide some powerful plays in combination with other cards that typically you don't find in gadget decks. One of them being Deep Sea Diva, and this card can really go off with Ultimate Offering. But I also like it as a standalone card, similar to a gadget. It's a +1. It gets first one getting Spine Gillman to make a level 5 is really powerful, and also we can get into some combos that this card can really go off with later on. Another card that we kind of combo gadgets with is 2 copies of Caius. When making this deck, I decided just to try 2 copies of Caius because I think it's one of the best cards in the Edison format. So being able to put a good card into a good deck, I think, is just a thing you should try to be doing as often as possible. Caius is one of those cards that's just fantastic in a lot of spots. It combos with Ultimate Offering. Being able to put a Caius into play when your opponent declares an attack is extremely powerful. And being able to actually use your gadgets that are floating as +1s to tribute off for fodder, get actual value out of them, and able to enable your caius here is very powerful. And once we're using the gadgets for actually a use out of them, instead of just being little floating dummies, this is how we get to really take advantage and get ahead of our opponent. So two copies of caius, it's excellent. We also have 1 copy of Plaguespreader Zombie, just similar to Diva. It's just a combo card that you can have 2 tuners with in the blink of an eye. Really powerful tuner, probably the best one in the format. That or Diva, very, very good cards. And then I have a 1 tech kycoo in the main because I've been really impressed with this card. I've been signing it in most of my decks, but I think in the gadget deck with a lot of removal, which we'll get to, really enables this card to get swing in when you have it in hand. You can also hold it until you have your removal so that you can get in there, and kycoo can just have such a big impact on the game, especially in a low resource game. We have full 3 copies of Smashing Ground alongside 1 copy of Hammer Shot. These cards are just really important because it allows you to be a control deck that can also combo off and win the game. That's sort of the point of the deck. We want to be able to control the game 1 for 1 with our opponent, beat them with gadgets, and then once we have control of the game, beat them with cards like Deep Sea Diva, Caius, Ultimate Offering, cards that can really close out the game once we have assumed control. But having 4 removal spells on the deck allows you to play the normal gadget +1 game plan that can really just beat a lot of decks of its own and matches up against a lot of different things well in the format. We have 2 copies of Avarice. I usually only put 1 copy of Avarice into my gadget decks because it can kind of be bricky in early game, but Deep Sea Diva and Spine Gillman summoning level 5 enables 3 monsters into your graveyard really early, and Ultimate Offering enables this as well. I think you have enough enablers in the early game to really facilitate 2 copies of Pot of Avarice, and I think as many as you can play is what you want to be playing. This card is just extremely powerful, being able to draw cards, put gadgets back, recycle powerful cards like Diva or Caius, really, really strong. We have the 1 powerful copy of Brain Control, as we're playing ways to get rid of their monsters, whether it be tributing for Caius, synchroing with Diva or Plague. You usually don't get to play this in gadgets to full effect, as most of the time you're just summoning a gadget, but in this deck you have a lot of ways to get rid of their monster and really utilize Brain Control, as it's one of the most powerful spell cards on the format. You want to be playing it in any way that you can. Then we have MST and Heavy. You can kind of just regular removal for MST gets rid of cards like Skill Drain. That's annoying. You can also go off Ultimate Offering on your opponent's turn during their battle phase, and then on your turn flip to Heavy Storm and clear away for the combos that you're going to go ahead and do. But now we got onto the traps. We have 3 copies of Deep Prison. Once again, we're just going to try and control the game as much as possible. And 1 for 1 with our opponent. The gadgets can do that very well. Of course, we also have 2 copies of Bottomless, borderline staple in the format. Just very powerful card, deals with a lot of different things. A little weird one, we have 2 copies of Fiendish Chain. I like this card in this deck specifically, not necessarily in the format as a whole. But what it does is it protects your gadgets to enable cards like Caius and Deep Sea Diva when you don't have Ultimate Offering. So it makes those cards better by utilizing the gadgets once they're in play. Instead of having them get run over or something along those lines, you can Fiendish Chain their monster, leave it in play, and then you can Caius it away by utilizing the gadget that you protected with Fiendish Chain. So I think this card's like really chainable. It does some cool things, and I think it's necessary for just protecting the gadget and making sure you get that value out of the +1 rather than the gadget's dying or something along those lines. We have 2 copies of Ultimate Offering. When I saw this card at 2 when visiting Edison format, I just thought that was insane. I think this card is extremely broken. I think it's one of the better cards in Edison. Really powerful, enables some crazy combos, as I'll show you at least one of them. Really, really powerful card. If you open with this card in a gadget, you're already at a plus, what, 5, 4, whatever it is. Plus, imagine with a Deep Sea Diva or a caius, you can do some really nasty things, and I'll sort of get into that. Card's extremely powerful. If you open it, or once you draw it in the late game and you're controlling the game, you're ahead, you're going to be able to kill your opponent very quickly. Rounding out the traps, you got Solemn Judgment, Trap Dustshoot, just really broken cards. Helps enable your combo by pushing it through. Dustshoot just broken to open, really powerful. We have Torrential, Mirror Force, and Starlight Road. I like Starlight Road at 1. I think it's decent at protecting your Ultimate Offering. Sometimes you can use that multiple back rows to one, to protect your combo, but also to go off. And this card is just sort of a protection for when you have to set all your back rows, as well as just being a control card. You can set it with a bunch of cards and just try to play the +1 game plan. So that's the main deck. It's 40 cards with 9 gadgets, which can be tough. Some bricky hands do happen, but I think the power is worth it in this case. Onto the extra deck, we have the 2 5s for Diva, pretty standard. We have Brionac. This card is extremely broken in this deck, being able to bounce back various cards like Caius and Deep Sea Diva to enable some insane combos. Also clearing our opponent's back row to play around various things. I can sort of get into that after. Very, very broken in this deck. We have a bunch of 6s since we have 2 Divas and a bunch of level. We have the 3 Divas and a bunch of level 4s. So Goyo, Gaia, and Urquiza, flamvell. Solid cards overall. You're going to make Goyo most of the time, but these 2 do come up and have come up before. Black Rose and Ancient Fairy don't come up too often, but I like having access to them. Stardust, Colossal, and Archfiend. Also, Dark End Dragon does come up because you can make it with Caius, so very good there. We also have Red Dragon Archfiend, Mistworm, very important. You basically make this when you're going to push for game, basically every time. Also, just having a gadget in play plus Diva and Spined Gillman is just the Mistworm, which is very powerful. So that's something you can do a lot. And then we have the 1 copy of Chimera Tech. Quick sideboard rundown. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We have 3 Crow, 2 Cyber Dragon, 1 Kycoo. Card's amazing. Grammel, very interesting with Ultimate Offering. When your opponent declares an attack on your turn, on their turn, you can just put this into play, and then like they can't really kill you at all. You just keep bouncing everything. You should keep summoning it every time they declare an attack. Really good defensively. Also, on your turn, you can bounce something out of the way to help push for game, which I think is very cool. Paying 500 for a compulsory every turn with Ultimate Offering in play is extremely powerful. So I like the card a lot. I like Reaper just slowing down the game. Also, you can get in there with Ultimate Offering, just putting it onto the end of your combo and being able to snipe a card out of your opponent's hand with a bunch of gadgets in play. Breaker I like with Ultimate Offering as well. You can summon it, then pop it back row, and then go off afterwards because you still have multiple normal summons. Very good. I like Hammer Shot as an additional removal spell. We have 2 copies of Oppression. We're not maining it because we're looking to synchro summon, especially in game 1, trying to combo out. But Oppression, you can side out some of your special summons and really just be a gadget control deck in the matchups where that strategy is extremely viable. We have 2 copies of Dust Tornado. It helps push through your combos in games 2 and 3, being able to clear the way. Also just gets rid of skill drain and annoying cards that you might have to deal with. And I have one light mirror because a lot of light swings at my locals. Card's fine, not excellent. Quickly go into the combos real quick. Just the main combo you need to know for this deck is the 3-card combo of, it's really a 2-card combo because you always have the gadget since you have 9, but it's 2-card combo of these and 1 gadget, and you can just do all sort of nasty stuff. I'll just show you a couple things you can do. Well, mainly one, this is the one you need to know. You initially normal summon a gadget. You can also do this all in your turn, by the way. You're going to go gadget, go get green, go get red, pay 500, pay 500, and then you can summon your Deep Sea Diva and go and get one other copy of Deep Sea Diva here. Then what we can do, and this is all you can do this on your opponent's turn if you want to play around back rows, because in this case you can now Heavy Storm if you want to do that, but I like keeping the Ultimate Offer in play. As you'll see, you can do some nasty stuff. I'm going to go ahead and sync her with the lowest attack one, which is important. And we go into brionac. Now, we generally have more cards in our hand than our opponent because we're grinding 1-for-1, our gadgets are getting +1s. So we can discard cards to clear their back row at this point. Usually it's just 1 or 2. A lot of times you dust or MST one away and then hit the other one with brionac. But what's really cool is you bounce the Diva back to your hand by discarding a card. So it goes back to your hand, and now you summon the Diva again, paying 500 to do so. And bringing out Spined Gillman. Now this is when you go into the Mistworm. You've cleared their back rows away, and now you're going to clear all their monsters away by summoning a copy of Mistworm. And because we still have gadgets in our hand, because we keep searching them, now you can go ahead and summon the red gadget that you searched off of the green, or whatever the last one in the chain is. And this is a ton of damage. That's an OTK right there, having cleared your opponent's back row as well as all of their monsters. So I like playing around the back row first, getting rid of their stuff, and then being able to do whatever you want after. Also, another thing you can do is kind of like bounce caius over and over again, as long as you have the tribute fodder with the gadgets and the cards in hand, which comes up sometimes. You have the, in this case, you would have this here, and you could just sack for caius, banish their monster. Generally, it's going to be like a Raikou face down. Instead of bouncing it, you can then like discard, bounce this, tribute again here, use your 500, pay 500 to go search the next gadget in line, discard another card. You can even discard the card you're searching off this to then sacrifice that, and you can just keep caiusing by bouncing this back, bouncing your own caius back to your hand, and then paying 500, sacking a free gadget to do so. So overall, I think this deck's really sick. I designed it myself. I wanted to design a deck that really was a combo control deck, something that could win after controlling the game, as well as just being a normal control deck that doesn't have to rely on a combo. I think that's a really interesting take on the Edison format. I think it's really powerful in card games in general, being able to control and then combo out, but also just draw like the nutty hands of just like these 3 cards, and then you just win. Like if they don't have any back row, you can just straight out win with that. So that's the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the deck in the comments below. And without further ado, this is Dan V from SSG signing out.